My name is Jose Duverge, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Family descends from Dominican Republic. I am a father of 2 children, have a daughter that will be 5 in June, and have a baby boy that's 18 months currently. The title of fatherhood to me means responsibility, means growth, means exposure, means development. I look at fatherhood as the opportunity to build someone, right? To develop someone. And it's a daily task. It requires a lot of self-thought, self-reflection, alliance with my better half as my wife and the mother of my children. So I would say those are the principles behind fatherhood. A moment that I felt proud is it's always cool to see what you're teaching your kids put those things into action, right? And usually when you're blindsided by it, it reminds you that they're listening and they care. And it kind of just emphasizes again the responsibility that I have as a father and wanting to raise a young lady that's gonna live the values that I'm hoping she's gonna live by. One of the things I've learned is that my parents literally did the best that they absolutely could. There were some things that worked back then that probably don't work now, but from my father's standpoint, it was really make no excuses, right? You're a man, you have responsibilities, people counting on you, show up every day. And for my mom as well, just never made any excuses for anything. So I think that's something that has stayed with me, and it shows up in how I try to father and just being, a man within my household and in the circles that I get a chance to run in. But ultimately just, staying focused on the task and making no excuses. The world is a scary place, unfortunately. There's a lot that we have to protect our kids from and prepare our kids for. To develop the type of human that I would like to develop and see in my daughter and my son, I have to be a representation of that, right? So when I think about respect, when I think about integrity, when I think about confidence, when I think about self-control and being a leader or a follower, you really have to ask yourself, are you those things? Are you living those things? My wife is certainly the more creative person. She gets that hat, and she wears that hat all the time in our household. But I would definitely say from a discipline standpoint, it's everything, right? Discipline is making the hard decision, right? Or making the right decision, even when it's not the popular decision, right? Even when it's not the easiest decision to make. Discipline is an anchor in my values and principles as a father. If you don't have something that's gonna center you at all times, that's gonna be consistent, uniform thing that you can go to no matter what the circumstances are, usually the outside world circumstances are gonna influence how you move. And I think that's really where my faith has come in, because it's a constant. It's a constant guide. It's a constant way I wanna live. It's a constant way I wanna think, and I wanna just show up in my household with my kids. So, I try to spend every morning in prayer. I try to spend every morning meditating and really just in silence and listening. Like I have a few minute windows where, it's something that I've taken up and I've been consistent with it for the past few months. And it's something that I plan to continue carrying on. And there's a section of that, of my routine that's focused on my kids. There's 4 things that I mentioned. Be sweet, especially in the morning. That wasn't always the case for me because I'm like rushing. I got work, I got this to go, and you project that onto your children. Soft tone is everything, right? When you're quickly reacting to something, sometimes, I'll have a tone that's probably off-putting. So I gotta remind myself, be soft. Be soft tone, the message you get across. And I have to just remind myself of these things. praise your kids for perseverance and overcoming challenges. Be mindful when they're in transition mode. So one of the things we've tried to implement is like, you got 5 minutes. 5 minutes. What we found is that she's actually excited about those 5 minutes, and she uses those 5 minutes to get mentally prepared to stop doing what she's doing because she's got to go to bed. A good round of life as a father is that I've developed a relationship with my kids where they know dad has real expectations and real standards, that as long as you're a good person, work hard, have integrity, and pursue your dreams and take care of the people around you, as long as I can instill that in them and they can live their life that way, and there are actions that they're taking, decisions that they're making that reflect those things, most certainly I'm never gonna let you stay down. We're gonna pick you up and we're gonna learn from the lesson and we're gonna move on. And I would say the last piece is to meet my grandchildren. I lost my father 10 years ago, and he's never met my kids. And that's something that's always stuck with me because I think my father would have been the best grandfather ever. My son's obviously not talking yet, but my daughter doesn't really know what a grandfather is because we don't talk about grandpa. Everything is grandma or mama. The same thing on my wife's side. My kids never met their grandfather or a grandfather. So that's just something that's a little selfish, but that's something that I would hope one day to be able to meet my grandchildren. Breaking barriers every day, bro. Breaking barriers every day, man. My parents did the best they could. Immigrants don't speak the language. We live check to check. Just thinking about that and just rewriting the narrative is we're fortunate, me and my wife are fortunate enough to be in a better position and we can just do more for our children, expose them to more. But we also try to do it with making sure that they know where we come from. We broke the generational limits that we had, my wife and I have, and we're hopefully gonna put them in position to break those generational limits, which are the barriers and everything that Eastside Golf stands for. The advice I would give to a new father, spend time thinking about what kind of human you want to develop. Be critical of yourself by asking yourself the hard questions like, are you that? Because if you're not, that's okay. Along with faith comes grace, and you start to realize that you never done this before, and that's okay. And you don't need to have all the answers. But if you're not searching for the answers, and if you're not being honest with yourself, I think that's when it becomes a problem. So if you're giving yourself some grace, being honest with yourself, have a clear vision of who you're trying to develop, and then making sure that you're putting things in place to help develop that person while you're developing yourself.